Am I the a-hole for exposing my ex to his mother about our kids? I, 45 female, am currently divorced from my ex Thomas, 47 male of 30 years. We ended up seeing a lawyer to help with dividing stuff. Everything was pretty much wrapped up, till he said he no longer wanted any part of our kids' lives, 5 male and 12 female. I didn't argue with him about it, since I already know what it's like having a parent who doesn't want you around, or wants to be in your life. I asked what he wanted me to tell the kids, and he just said, "Whatever you think is best, I don't care. I don't want to parent anymore." Everything was in agreement and signed with no fuss. A few weeks later, I got a call from my ex-mother-in-law asking if we could meet each other. When I came over, she broke down crying and begging to let my ex see his kids again. I was confused about what she meant because not once did he contact me after meeting the lawyer. She went on about how my ex said he really missed them and that I was just a petty witch for taking full custody. Also that he was crying for days about it. I told her my version of events and she called it BS, saying her son wouldn't lie like that, especially not about his kids. Then I decided to call him in front of her. He didn't know she and I were meeting that day. I said, "Hey, 5 male has a soccer game in a few days," which he did, and I was wondering if you wanted to go. I know he'd really love it and be happy to see you. He instantly said, "No, I already said I'm not doing this anymore." I raised my voice a bit saying, "Well, what about holidays and birthdays? Because we never discussed any of it and your family might want to see them." He just said, "My family already thinks the kids aren't mine anyways, so it doesn't matter." I asked, "Well, how do you think this is going to affect Denise, his mom? She's over the moon about them." He just said, "She loves me more than the kids, so I doubt this will be an issue for her." After a bit more talking, we finally hung up. Ex-mother-in-law was straight-faced and nodded at everything that just happened, saying, okay." She asked me to leave and said we would be in touch. Later that day, I got a call from my ex saying how it's my fault he was kicked out of his mom's house and possibly will be taken off her will. Also, that none of his family members will talk to him because of what ex-mother-in-law heard. He threw a lot of insults at me before I hung up, and now him and his mates keep calling and texting me. Even my friend is saying I shouldn't have said anything in the first place, and I ruined his life. Now for the top comments. Not stay home. He had the right to sign off his rights. He did not have the right to paint you in a bad light and make you look to be at fault and evil/manipulative. That's defamation of character. You had the right to set the record straight. His mom had a right to go no contact with her son, a grown man who didn't want contact with his actual young kids. Sounds like he's getting a taste of his own medicine, aka karma. You put it better than I could have, 100%. Not stay home. Your ex-mother-in-law deserved to know what lies her son has been spreading and how little he wants to do with being a parent. Him being mad he was caught is his own fault, not yours. Exactly. Hopefully it works out to stay in contact with Denise. Yeah, I hope so too. The sudden disappearance of their father from their lives is going to be difficult for the children, no matter how their mother tells them. The 5-year-old may not fully understand yet, but the 12-year-old will. If Grandma Denise is a good influence, which it seems like she is from what we know, I hope Opie can find room in their lives for her. She seems to love the children very much. I'm sure she'd love visitation. It may be beneficial to the children too, so they can see they still have family on that side who love them. They're already going to be dealing with feelings of abandonment. No need to make it worse by making them feel that whole side of the family abandoned them too, instead of just their father. Not stay home. He made a decision for which he knew his family would judge him negatively, so he lied and made you the scapegoat. You didn't go seeking out his family to tell them what he'd done. You were blindsided by the whole thing. No way were you obligated to carry that water for him. Not at all. I can't understand how anyone would ever take his side in this. He abandoned his children, blamed you, and now is angry that his malfeasance and subsequent lies have been found out. If I were you, I'd reach out to ex-mother-in-law and see if she would be interested in seeing the kids and maybe having a relationship with her. Unless there are toxic things about her you haven't included. It seems like she'd love to see them, and I'll bet they miss their grandma as well. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not allowing my mother-in-law in the delivery room? I'm 18 and this is my first baby. I'm getting induced on Tuesday. I live with my fiancé, male 21, and his mother, female 37. We live in a converted area behind our house. It was a garage, but was flipped into a studio apartment. My fiancé and I have been together for 2.5 years now, and I have lived here for a little over a year. My mother-in-law is very opinionated, which is why I believe we're having these issues. We're having a little boy and decided to name him Carter. My mother-in-law said it's an ugly name. She regularly refers to him as her baby, which also bothers me. She insisted that she gets a baby monitor and a key to our place, just in case we don't wake up. She's even asked to set up a schedule, basically switching my son off between the three of us so that is comfortable with everybody. She's made comments asking if I'd love him more if he was a girl, or if he came out with a condition would I still love him the same. I told my fiancé about this, but he said that is just his mom and she means no harm by it. She is just inquisitive. She has been a part of every single moment of my pregnancy, which I should be grateful for, but I feel suffocated. It's like she thinks this is her baby too, and she's a third parent. Besides referring to him as hers, she's thrown away clothes I bought because they're ugly. She's made comments about how young I am and how she's worried about my parenting skills. She's insisted that she be made emergency contact and be on all of his paperwork as well, such as medical release, etc. This morning at breakfast, she brought up how excited she is for Tuesday and that she can't wait to see her baby be born. I just had enough. I told her that my son wasn't her baby, that it was my baby, and that I'd really prefer if she stays home while I have the baby because I just wanted that time at the hospital to be me, my fiancé, and my son. She started bawling. I ended up compromising. She can come to the hospital but not to the delivery room. She said that's not fair at all. She should be able to see her grandson be born, that I'm ruining a special moment for her. Why can't she be there if they're allowing 2 people, etc.? I apologized and told her I'm just not comfortable with it. And I never told her she could be in the delivery room anyway. She just assumed. She told me that if I don't want her there, then I can leave. But my fiancé told her to stop and asked me to go back to the house. When he came back, he told me that I should consider letting his mom be in the delivery room with me for support. I told him that I didn't need her support. I needed his. I explained that I just wanted some time for just us because we didn't get that the entire pregnancy. He said that he can't support me like she would because he's not a woman and he hasn't had kids. I told him my decision was final. All he said was she's gonna be really upset and that I should have made it explicitly clear from the jump that she wouldn't be in the delivery room. Not stay home. By my math, you're older than she was when she got pregnant with your boyfriend. Remind her that if she can do it at 16, you can do it at 18. I don't know why I haven't said this to her yet, but thank you for reminding me. There's some cannon fodder for you, OP. All kidding aside, she's being emotionally manipulative. You are 100% right. This is not her baby. You'll have plenty of support from ladies who can provide you with all the support you need during delivery. They're called nurses, and they've got more experience here than your mother-in-law can even fathom. You've got this, OP. Good for standing up for yourself. Not stay home. Can you and your fiancé move somewhere else? That woman is way too involved in your lives. I agree with your fiancé that you could have been more upfront, but I'm not convinced his mother would have accepted it earlier on either. It seems like she wants a do-over because she had her own child so young. We've been talking about it. Just don't think we're able to do so now, but we've been looking into cheap apartments. Finding affordable housing is just difficult now. I totally understand that finding housing is hard right now. But if you don't have a come-to-Jesus talk with your partner about his mother and her boundary stomping issues, it's going to get worse. The problem is not your mother-in-law, it's your fiancé. You are having his baby and he is prioritizing his mom right now over you. This is actually shocking. Put a hard stop to this behavior now or it will never end. Don't let these people gaslight you. This is your baby, your delivery, not stay home. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for destroying all my ex-girlfriend's data? I had a pretty big breakup a few years ago. We were together for 7 years until she broke up with me in order to sleep with Fat Jesus from the store she worked at. She refused to collect any of her stuff from me. We're talking clothes, books, manga, anime merch still in the box, DVDs, etc. And most importantly, her old laptop. Upon her refusing to collect any of her stuff, I emailed her. Partly so there would be some record of this. Partly because she'd blocked me on most other platforms because me being upset was apparently emotional blackmail. I said that she had until X date to come and collect her stuff, otherwise I would bin/recycle/sell it. I gave her 60 days to come and collect it. She replied telling me to just buzz off and stop trying to find excuses to see her, and that she did not want any of this stuff and that I should do what I want with it. I specifically inquired about the laptop, and she said she didn't care because she had her main computer, and all her files were backed up on a USB stick. I tried explaining before that it isn't backing up if they're the only copies, but she never listened. I contacted her twice from this point, telling her that she had X number of days to collect it. So if she's going to change her mind, then she needs to let me know. As for the laptop, I contacted her after the given date, telling her that I was about to nuke the drives from the laptop and have them recycled. No response. So I did a responsible thing, given that it wasn't my data. I ran dban on the drives to completely nuke them and then sent them to drive shredding place. Stripped the laptop down for parts, took what was usable, sold the rest on eBay. Forgot about it until a few weeks back. She messaged me asking if she could have the laptop back, because her USB stick had, surprise surprise, failed, and she'd lost all her photos on there, including the only copies she had of the photos of her mother, who unfortunately passed away a few years back. I told her that, as I said before, the laptop was gone, and I destroyed the hard drives. The data was gone. She absolutely flipped the heck out and told me that I'm a horrible person, and that I knew there were photos of her mother on there. So how/why would I ever do that? She thinks I'm a piece of turd, and was being spiteful, and that there was no reason that I couldn't have kept a copy of her data, as I have a huge storage server to keep it on, and that it would have made basically zero impact to myself. I know she's being unreasonable, but she's right. I have around 96 terabyte of storage on my server. I could have stored her entire laptop's worth of data 100 times over and not even notice. There was no reason for me to not do so other than me not wanting to. I absolutely 100% could have kept the data after destroying the laptop. Am I the a-hole for not holding on to the data at absolutely zero inconvenience to myself, knowing exactly what was on there? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. You gave her every possible warning and opportunity to come collect her stuff before you got it out of your life. Her not choosing to take that seriously is on her, as is not taking basic data backup security measures on her own. Frankly, I'm not sure how much you even believe she's genuinely out of luck, versus this being some kind of mind game. Regardless, though, it's not your problem, so take advantage of not having any reason to be in contact anymore and keep moving forward with your life. Oh, sorry, I should clarify. The deadline was a few years ago now. I must have missed that out. Had to cut a lot out to be within AITA's 3,000 character limit. She just got back in contact with me, apparently expecting me to have held onto the data since 2018. I'd honestly forgotten about it, and pretty much her, until she got back in contact. I could have stored her entire laptop's worth of data 100 times over and not even notice. There was no reason for me to not do so other than me not wanting to. That is 100% a valid reason not to keep the data. Keeping it would mean holding on to the relationship and always having her in the back of your mind. Absolutely unhealthy in the context of moving on from a bad breakup. Not the a-hole. If you nuked them right away, I could see her point. But giving someone 2+ months to collect their stuff and then not doing it simply because she didn't want to means that is her fault. Yeah, plus I feel like not nuking them would have been irresponsible. I certainly wasn't going to keep the physical drive sitting around. I've had a huge clear out over the last few years, throwing out a lot of old crap. My ex's old computer certainly wasn't going to be spared, and just binning it without sanitizing the data in any way would just have been putting her data at risk. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for getting mad at my wife's gender reveal prank and ruining the party? My wife is currently pregnant and we are the proud parents of a 2-year-old girl. To be completely honest, this is an accidental pregnancy. I love being a dad, but our marriage hasn't been good for a while, so we didn't mean to bring another child into it. We had a small gender reveal party at our house. There was a small cannon which was going to shoot out blue or pink powder. When my wife took the thing to aim it, she shot the powder all over me on purpose. I was pissed and just turned to glare at her. She immediately looked uncomfortable and tried to laugh. Everyone seemed put off by me not laughing, and a couple people told me to lighten up. I still didn't laugh and just stood there deadpan. I could see my wife getting more and more uncomfortable. When we were away from the crowd, I asked why the heck would she do that? And she got defensive and said it was a prank and she thought it would be funny. I told her she knows I don't like idiotic pranks, and it wasn't. She demanded to know how I could just stand there like that and humiliate her, and I replied that I really don't care if she was humiliated because she chose to behave like that. She began to cry and said she wants to be in a relationship where they can play pranks, and it wasn't a big deal. I've gotten a lot of crap from a few family members, especially her dad, about how I overreacted and made a party uncomfortable. Edit for everyone asking, we are having a boy. Everyone sucks here for having a gender reveal party. And everyone sucks here for being miserable in their relationship and still bringing an innocent kid into this mess. Troubled relationships and divorces happen. What makes or breaks it is how they proceed to find a healthy balance. The mother might have wanted to keep the kid either way. As long as the parents manage to treat each other with respect, the kids will be fine. Everyone sucks here. Y'all need a therapist or a divorce. Or she needs to respect boundaries. She does, but the way he talks about her oozes with contempt. That's the thing you can't come back from. They need a therapist to get them through this pregnancy. I'm betting divorce anyway. Not stay home. I don't know your wife, but I doubt if the roles were reversed, she would think it was funny. I also don't think your guests would have defended you. 100% guarantee that if he was the one aiming the cannon at her, he would have gotten nothing but crap from other people. I hope he didn't react well at all to this, but the wife gets a pass? Just because she's pregnant? Honestly, her little prank reeks of passive aggression. Again, he should have handled it better, but that was an awful thing for her to do. Everyone sucks here. I wouldn't enjoy that either. If she wants to be with someone who likes that stuff, she shouldn't be with you. Forcing you in front of everyone so you'd have to give her the reaction she wants, or so she thought, is super manipulative. I don't understand people who get off on others' distress or ridiculousness, let alone publicly. But you, sir, sound aggressive and intimidating in manner, like you're trying to shame her out of behavior you don't like. I don't care if you were humiliated because you chose to behave like that. He has no way to talk to anyone, let alone your wife. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean she's inferior because she does. It's just a difference of opinion. Your high-handed, morally superior manner is also evidently achieving nothing but making her dig her heels in. She wants someone who likes stupidity. You want someone who will obey you. Neither of you is happy. Why y'all got married in the first place is beyond me. What a toxic couple.